Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's video. If you're starting your English journey, you may sometimes feel overwhelmed by vocabulary, grammar, and rules. But don't worry, today I'll share a simple and powerful method to improve your speaking, the imitation technique. This technique is all about listening carefully to native speakers and repeating what you hear. Children use it to learn their first language, and it works beautifully for English learners too. With imitation, you can improve your pronunciation, expand your vocabulary, and absorb grammar naturally, without memorizing endless rules. Here's how it works. Choose materials you enjoy, such as songs, short videos, or podcasts. Listen closely, repeat exactly what you hear, and practice regularly. Don't fear mistakes, they are part of learning. Over time, your brain recognizes sounds, intonation, and rhythm, helping you speak more fluently and confidently. In this video, I'll guide you step by step and share exercises to get you started. Step 1. Choosing listening material that matches your level. The very first step in practicing the imitation technique is to select listening material that is appropriate for your current English level. This is essential because if the material is too difficult, you may become frustrated and give up, and if it's too easy, you may not challenge yourself enough to learn effectively. For beginners, ideal materials include short, simple videos, slow-paced songs, or beginner-friendly podcasts. For instance, a children's story video or a short English learning clip on YouTube is perfect. You want content where native speakers speak clearly and slowly, allowing you to catch every word and pronunciation detail. Once you've chosen your material, listen carefully without reading the subtitles or transcript at first. This helps you focus purely on the sounds, rhythm, and intonation of English. Pay close attention to the way words are linked, how certain sounds are emphasized, and the natural pauses between phrases. At this stage, your goal is familiarity, not perfection. Just immerse yourself in the sounds and let your ears adjust to the flow of English. Step 2. Repetition with text or lyrics. After listening a few times to understand the natural rhythm, the second step is to start repeating the sentences aloud while looking at the text or lyrics. This step bridges what you hear with what you can produce. For example, if you're using a short song, follow along with the lyrics while you imitate the singer's pronunciation, tone, and stress patterns. For spoken videos, read the transcript line by line and say each sentence aloud exactly as the speaker does. The key here is accuracy and attention to detail. Don't just say the words, try to replicate the intonation, pitch, pauses, and even the emotion behind the sentence. If a speaker emphasizes a particular word, make sure to emphasize it too. Don't worry about making mistakes at this stage, errors are normal and expected. What matters most is training your mouth, ears, and brain to recognize and reproduce the sounds of English naturally. A helpful tip during this step is to repeat each sentence multiple times. For example, say a sentence 3 to 5 times in a row, trying each time to get closer to the exact pronunciation and intonation of the native speaker. Over time, these repeated efforts will help you internalize the sound patterns, making it easier to produce them independently later on. Step 3. Isolating smaller phrases or words. Once you feel comfortable repeating sentences while looking at the text, the next step is to break the content into smaller chunks. This could mean isolating individual phrases, short sentences, or even single words. For instance, in a song, you might choose a two-line verse or a catchy phrase and repeat it until it feels natural in your mouth. If you notice certain words pronounced differently than you expected, focus specifically on those words, saying them slowly and clearly until you master the correct sound. Breaking content into smaller pieces allows you to focus on tricky sounds, intonation, and rhythm patterns that may be difficult to get right on the first try. For example, English speakers often link words together, such as, "What are you doing?" sounding like, "Whatcha doing?" When practicing, isolate this phrase and imitate the connected speech repeatedly. This builds muscle memory and improves your fluency in real-life conversations. Another useful technique is to record yourself. Use your phone or computer to record your attempts at imitating phrases. Then, compare your recording to the original audio. This comparison allows you to notice differences in pronunciation, stress, or intonation, giving you a clear roadmap for improvement. Step 4. Gradually incorporating words and phrases into your own speech. After mastering individual phrases and words, the next goal is to start using them in your own conversations and practice exercises. This is the stage where imitation transitions into active language use. For example, if you practice the phrase, "Nice to meet you," try using it in real or simulated conversations. You can practice with a language partner, a tutor, or even by talking to yourself in front of a mirror. The key principle here is integration. The words and phrases you practice should move from passive memory, what you recognize when listening, to active usage, what you can say confidently in conversation. This step is critical because it ensures that your practice has a real, tangible impact on your speaking ability. The more you incorporate these imitated phrases into your daily speech, the more natural and automatic your English will sound. Step 5. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. A very important part of the imitation technique is embracing mistakes. Many learners hesitate to speak because they fear mispronouncing words or using grammar incorrectly. However, mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Every error is an opportunity to notice what needs improvement and refine your pronunciation and language skills. The more mistakes you allow yourself to make while practicing, the faster you will learn. It's also important to remember that perfection is not the goal. Fluency, clarity, and confidence are far more valuable. The imitation technique emphasizes repetition, practice, and gradual improvement, not perfection from the first attempt. Practical tips for daily practice. To make the imitation technique more effective, here are some additional practical tips. Consistency is key. Practice daily, even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes. Frequent short practice sessions are better than occasional long sessions. Use engaging material. Choose songs, videos, or podcasts that you enjoy. Learning is much easier and more sustainable when it's fun. Focus on difficult sounds. Pay attention to vowels, consonant clusters, and stress patterns that are challenging for you. Shadowing technique. Try speaking at the same time as the audio, slightly behind the speaker, to improve rhythm and fluency. Mix listening and speaking. Alternate between listening without looking at the text and repeating aloud with the text. This balances comprehension and production skills. By combining these techniques, you are essentially training your brain, ears, and mouth to work together. Your brain learns to recognize English patterns, your ears become attuned to natural pronunciation, and your mouth develops the muscle memory needed to reproduce the sounds effortlessly. Over time, you will notice that speaking English becomes more natural, fluent, and confident. Step 6. Example exercise. Let's look at a simple example of how to apply all these steps. Choose material, a simple YouTube video where a native speaker says, "Hello, how are you today?" Listen carefully, play it a few times without subtitles. Focus on pronunciation and intonation. Repeat with text, look at the transcript and say the sentence aloud, copying the speaker's intonation. Isolate smaller phrases, break it into, "Hello, how are you today?" and repeat each several times. Incorporate into speech, practice saying the full sentence in different contexts or conversations. Record and review, compare your pronunciation to the original audio and adjust as needed. Repeat this process with new phrases and sentences regularly, gradually expanding your vocabulary and fluency. Over weeks and months, the cumulative effect of this practice will transform your English speaking skills significantly. By following these steps, choosing the right material, listening actively, repeating aloud, isolating tricky phrases, integrating into conversation, and embracing mistakes, you are harnessing the power of the imitation technique. It's a simple yet extremely effective way for beginners to improve pronunciation, vocabulary, and overall speaking confidence completely on their own. Remember, the key is practice, repetition, and enjoying the learning process. The more fun you have while practicing, the faster you will improve and the more natural your English will sound. Now that we've explored how to prepare and practice with the imitation technique, it's time to move into direct practice. This section focuses on exercises you can do immediately to improve your speaking skills by mimicking native speakers. The goal is to make speaking a natural, enjoyable habit while reinforcing pronunciation, intonation, and vocabulary. Step 1. Practicing simple sentences. Let's begin with simple, everyday sentences that are commonly used in daily conversations. These sentences are short, clear, and practical, making them ideal for beginners. Here are a few examples. Hello, how are you today? What's your name? Nice to meet you. The first step is to listen to each sentence carefully, paying attention to the stress, intonation, and rhythm. English is a stress-timed language, which means some words are emphasized more than others. For example, in the sentence, "Hello, how are you today?" the words "hello" and "today" are stressed, while "how are you" is softer and quicker. Listening carefully helps your brain and ears internalize these patterns. Next, repeat the sentence aloud, imitating the exact pronunciation and rhythm of the native speaker. Don't rush. Focus on copying the intonation, stress, and pauses. Say the sentence multiple times until it starts to feel natural. You can even exaggerate the sound slightly at first to make the rhythm and stress easier to notice and reproduce. Over time, your speech will become smoother and more natural. After practicing each sentence several times, try saying it without looking at the transcript or subtitles. This step helps you move from passive imitation to active recall, reinforcing the sentence in your memory. Repeat the sentences in different contexts, such as greeting a friend, introducing yourself, or starting a conversation. The more you use these sentences actively, the more confident you will become. Step 2. Shadowing technique. A powerful method for improving pronunciation and fluency is the shadowing technique. Shadowing means speaking along with the native speaker at the same time, trying to match their pace, intonation, and rhythm as closely as possible. To practice shadowing, follow these steps. Play the audio of a sentence or phrase. Start speaking at the same time as the speaker, slightly behind if needed. Focus on matching the pronunciation, stress, and intonation exactly. Repeat multiple times until your voice closely mimics the original speaker. For example, with the sentence, "What's your name?" listen to the native pronunciation and shadow it until your version sounds very similar. Shadowing trains your mouth muscles, vocal rhythm, and listening skills simultaneously, making it one of the most effective ways to sound like a native speaker. Step 3. Vocabulary practice with flashcards. Once you're comfortable with sentences, it's time to focus on vocabulary words. Vocabulary is the building block of speaking, and accurate pronunciation is crucial. One effective method is to use flashcards, physical cards, or digital apps, each featuring a single word or phrase. Here's how to practice. Look at the word on the flashcard, for example, delicious or fantastic. Listen to the correct pronunciation from a native speaker. Repeat the word aloud multiple times, copying the exact sounds. Record yourself saying the word, then compare it to the original pronunciation. Repeat until your version matches the native pronunciation as closely as possible. This practice not only improves pronunciation but also helps you internalize the word, so you can use it confidently in conversations. For instance, after practicing delicious and fantastic, you can start using them in sentences. This cake is delicious. Your idea is fantastic. Using words in context strengthens both your active vocabulary and your ability to produce natural-sounding English. Step 4. Combining sentences and vocabulary. Once you've practiced individual sentences and vocabulary words, it's time to combine them. For example, take the sentence, "Nice to meet you," and add a vocabulary word you've learned. Nice to meet you. You look fantastic today. Hello, how are you today? This coffee is delicious. Combining sentences and vocabulary forces you to think actively while speaking, which strengthens your fluency and confidence. At first, it may feel challenging, but with repetition, your brain and mouth will start to work together more efficiently. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to create natural, fluent sentences spontaneously. Step 5. Practicing intonation and expression. English is not just about individual words or sentences, it's about rhythm, intonation, and expression. The imitation technique allows you to capture these nuances. For instance, saying, "Hello, how are you today?" with flat intonation sounds unnatural. A native speaker naturally rises and falls in pitch, emphasizing certain words and softening others. To practice intonation, listen carefully to how the speaker's voice rises and falls. Repeat the sentence while trying to match the pitch exactly. Exaggerate the intonation slightly at first to make it more noticeable. Record yourself and compare it with the original. Additionally, adding emotion or expression makes your speech sound more natural. Smile while speaking, imagine you are talking to a friend, or express excitement when saying positive words like fantastic. These small adjustments help you sound confident and engaging. Step 6. Repetition and daily practice. The most important principle in this direct practice section is repetition. Repeating sentences and words consistently reinforces pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence structure. You can set aside 10 to 15 minutes daily for direct practice. During this time, focus on repeating 3 to 5 simple sentences multiple times, practicing 5 to 10 vocabulary words with flashcards, using shadowing to mimic native speakers, combining words and sentences into short dialogues. Over time, these repeated efforts will significantly improve your speaking fluency, accuracy, and confidence. The key is consistency and active engagement with the language every day. Step 7. Recording and self-evaluation. An optional but highly effective step is recording your voice during practice. Record yourself repeating sentences and vocabulary, then listen carefully. Compare your pronunciation, stress, and intonation with the original audio. Identify areas for improvement and focus on them in your next practice session. Self-evaluation helps you become more aware of your progress and highlights areas that need more attention. For example, you might notice that you are pronouncing the th sound incorrectly in words like this or think. Recognizing this allows you to dedicate extra practice to these challenging sounds. Step 8. Making practice fun and engaging. One of the most powerful ways to sustain direct practice is to make it fun. Learning English should not feel like a chore. Here are some tips to keep practice enjoyable. Use songs and imitate the singer's voice. Practice with a friend or language partner. Add playful exaggeration to your speech for emphasis and rhythm. Celebrate small achievements, like mastering a tricky word or sentence. When practice is enjoyable, your brain associates English learning with positive feelings, which boosts motivation and retention. This is why laughter and fun are important components of the imitation technique. Step 9. Example direct practice session. Here's a step-by-step example session you can follow. Warm up listening. Choose a short video clip or song. Listen to it 2 to 3 times without looking at the transcript. Sentence repetition. Pick 3 simple sentences, e.g., hello, how are you today, what's your name, nice to meet you. Repeat each 5 to 10 times aloud. Shadowing. Play the sentences and speak along with the speaker, matching rhythm and intonation. Repeat 3 times. Vocabulary drill. Take 5 words, e.g., delicious, fantastic, amazing, beautiful, exciting. Repeat each 5 times while recording your voice. Combination practice. Create 2 to 3 short dialogues combining sentences and vocabulary. Speak them aloud, emphasizing natural intonation. Self-evaluation. Listen to your recordings, note improvements and mistakes. Focus next session on areas that need work. Fun element. End the session by singing a favorite English song and mimicking the singer, using exaggerated intonation and expression. By following this example session daily, you will notice gradual but steady improvement in pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. The key is repetition, attention to detail, and enjoyment. Direct practice is where the imitation technique truly comes alive. It transforms passive listening into active speaking and allows learners to experience the English language as it is spoken naturally. By practicing simple sentences, shadowing native speakers, drilling vocabulary, combining phrases, focusing on intonation, and evaluating your performance, you are creating a comprehensive learning loop that accelerates improvement. Remember, the secret is not speed or perfection, it's consistency, engagement, and fun. By making direct practice a daily habit, imitating native speakers, and gradually increasing the complexity of your sentences and vocabulary, you will develop fluency, confidence, and a natural-sounding English accent over time. The imitation technique is simple, accessible, and highly effective. All you need is daily practice, attention to detail, and a playful attitude toward learning. Whether you're a beginner or someone looking to refine your English, this method provides a solid foundation for speaking fluently and naturally. Keep practicing, keep imitating, and most importantly, enjoy the process of learning English. Congratulations! You've now learned how to use the imitation technique to improve your English speaking skills effectively. By listening carefully, repeating sentences, practicing vocabulary, shadowing native speakers, and gradually integrating words and phrases into your own speech, you are building a strong foundation for fluency, confidence, and natural pronunciation. The most important thing to remember is that language learning is a journey, not a race. Every small effort you make counts, and over time, these consistent practices will lead to significant improvements in your speaking ability. One of the key benefits of the imitation technique is that it allows you to learn English in a natural and enjoyable way. Instead of memorizing rules or studying grammar separately, you're immersing yourself in the rhythm, sounds, and patterns of real English. This method helps your brain internalize the language, making it easier to recall words, phrases, and sentence structures when you need them. Plus, it trains your mouth and vocal muscles to produce authentic English sounds, which is essential for clear and confident communication. As you continue practicing, remember to embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. Every mispronounced word or slightly incorrect intonation is an opportunity to improve. Keep a positive mindset, and focus on progress rather than perfection. Celebrate the small victories, like correctly pronouncing a tricky word or speaking a full sentence smoothly. Finally, make practice a fun and regular habit. Use songs, videos, podcasts, or even flashcards to keep your learning engaging and interactive. The more you enjoy the process, the more motivated you will be to continue. Keep repeating, keep imitating, and most importantly, keep having fun while learning. Over time, the imitation technique will help you speak English more naturally, confidently, and fluently, turning your self-study sessions into a powerful and enjoyable path to mastery. Remember, practice consistently, imitate accurately, and enjoy every step of your English learning journey. You are capable of making amazing progress.